right, John and Ash. This time around, we got ourselves a true competitor for Nintendo on handheld because many people might not realize this because the DS became so dominant. But at launch, it was a very close race between the PSP and the DS. And for at least the first year or two, I saw more PSPs in the wild than the DS. So there is quite the legacy here that unfortunately unfortunately Sony, excuse me, wasn't able to maintain. But what are our histories with the PSP? Ash, let's start with you.
Man, I loved the PSP. What a sexy little handheld, man. I I got one at launch and I loved that thing. I was constantly playing my PSP and as you say, Derek, there was a close race for a little while there between the DS and the PSP, and the dominant narrative in gaming media for a while was like the PSP is cool, it's the in thing, it's what you want to be seen in public with, while the DS was not. The DS was just kind of like just it's when you put the two side by side, obviously the PSP was much sleeker, much sexier, much just more visually appealing. And the narrative there for a while was the DS just ain't it, man, and the PSP was the end thing. Obviously, we all know the DS eventually and pretty quickly became the dominant system, but the early narrative for a while there was PSP was the it thing, and even though the DS became dominant, and I love my DS and I played a ton of it, I remained a fan of the PSP throughout its entire life cycle, and I have a lot of fond memories. I watched some movies on it. I remember I modded mine so I could do some cool emulation stuff on it. Yeah, I love the PSP, and I have a lot of very positive memories about my favorite games on it.
Mm.
Hmm.
You sometimes hear that it's a failure today, but it sold 80 million, which is 5 million more than the 3DS. So PSP was bigger than
Right?
3DS.
That's
It was, it
crazy.
was,
It's weird
it
to
was a
think
huge
about.
success. Yeah, yeah, it was really, really big in Japan, big across the world. And this was like my first exposure to like kind of like a smartphone almost, because you
Yeah.
can listen to music, you can watch movies, there's an internet browser on there. And this was in what, 2004, 2005? Before
So,
phones did most of that stuff as a standard. And you can get like pretty big what was it they called them? Memory stick duos was the SD
mhm.
card name. They came
Right.
in, you can get like a gigabyte, which was quite big for that time. I had a big library of UMD movies. This was my main MP3 player.
Oh, that's
It
funny.
felt it just felt like a future device.
It
I,
did.
I never bother with the UMD movies or
Oh,
any of
did you
that other
not?
stuff.
I've got some
I
within reach actually. One
I
sec.
think the issue was that I got PSP late because I was really hemming and hawing between, do I want a PSP? Do I want a DS? I wasn't sure which one I wanted to get. And when I finally did get a PSP, by that point, all the proprietary stuff was kind of like, eh. It wasn't,
Mm.
I just didn't care.
But you can get all of these for the PS.
So you're
I
saying
thought it was
you
it
didn't
was so
watch
cool for the
Hitch
time.
on UMD, Derek? For shame. The
I'm
the
Yeah,
Will
come
sorry.
on,
Smith
Derek.
mega hit Hitch?
I apologize. I really did struggle with which one I wanted next. This is probably the longest I waited for getting a next handheld and trying to decide because I really couldn't tell which one had the better library, which one I was more interested in because I knew the history. I had a Game Gear, so I was wary of getting a
Yeah.
non-Nintendo handheld at the time. So I'm like, but yeah, eventually I got both because of one simple reason. I got the DS first because it just had enough, and then New Super Mario Brothers was able to get through it. But I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan. And at first I was like,
Mm.
I don't have to worry about Birth by Sleep because they announced it a while ago. I was like, oh, we're going to get Dream Drop, not 358. You're going to get on the DS, and you're going to get Birth by Sleep on the PSP. I'm like, okay, well, at least I get a Kingdom Hearts game. And then it's like, oh no, Kingdom Hearts stuff is legit. And oh no, this is the stuff that was hinted at in Kingdom Hearts 2. How dare you?
That
And oh
secret
no,
movie.
they have
Yep.
new worlds. Oh, okay, well, I'm getting a PSP, and that's when I got it. I got the bundle
Yep.
Yeah.
with Birth by Sleep.
I mean,
That
in
that
the
may have been my driving factor too. That Kingdom Hearts 2 secret movie, the trailer with Aqua and Ventus and Terra, like that. I think that may have been my driving force once Bird by Sleep was announced. Yeah.
Mhm.
mm. In this era, a lot of Japanese companies weren't really doing that many console games. It was definitely a lower era on 360 and PS3. But like DS and PSP were full of this stuff. And so PSP
Yeah.
kind of felt like a continuation of PS2 in many ways, from Square and from Capcom, especially with Monster Hunter. So there was lots of really cool things. And both the DS
RPGs
and
as
yeah,
well.
tons of RPGs.
Yep.
Both the DS and PSP had completely distinct libraries. Like so few games were shared. So like, what an interesting time it was just to own both of them.
Very much so. So why don't we actually get to our top 10 lists, see what made it in, and what sort of defined the PSP for our audience. So let's go ahead and get started with our first set. I just realized I forgot to count out how many total different games there were. Whoops, I've been it's been kind of nuts. Based on what I'm seeing here, just scrolling through, I'd say about 300 to 400 games.
Woo. Okay.
Ooh,
The different games
okay.
represented. Around there. Sorry for not having an exact number. It's just been a bit nutty. However, there are 487 total votes for the PSP, so pretty respectable, all things
Okay.
considered. Especially because it doesn't seem to be as remembered as the DS. So I might be wrong, but it just
And
you
I
don't
think
hear it
you're
talked
right, and
about,
it's a shame. I think people remember the
Yeah.
tech being really cool, but a lot of the games don't get as spoken about.
which is a
And that's
shame
something.
because
Yeah, I
there's
want
some
to
good
change
ones in
that.
here, as you're about to see. So
Yeah, I've wanted to do a big PSP video for ages. So I'd love to spread the word a bit more.
yeah.
Same.
But let's go. Let's do this.
All
Ash,
right.
what do you think number 10 is?
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I'll just go and say God of War Ghost of Sparta or Chains of
Mm,
Olympus. One of the God of War PSP games.
yeah. I was thinking that too. But our audience has not been kind to Grand Theft Auto. And there's
Ooh.
three really cool ones on PSP. I think that maybe Vice City Stories made it to number 10.
John, that is ambitious to go for Grand Theft Auto based on our history. For all you know, it's once again number 13.
It was so cool on the
That's
PSP
so
though.
wild
It
to
was an
me.
open world game in the palm of your hands. It was rad.
It's very cool. It's very cool. However, you are both incorrect. And instead, at number 10, which honestly, this one surprised me. I did not expect this game to make the top 10. With 506 points, Mega Man Powered Up.
Hey,
Oh, hell
nice.
yeah!
Hell yeah. I
Ash
love
and
to
I
see
did
that.
a discussion about Powered Up last year, I think.
Yeah.
Really cool
Oh.
game.
So it's your guys' fault that this is on the top 10. I'm
Yeah.
fault.
Yeah, we're the ones spreading the word. We got to spread the word about more PSP games, apparently. Powered Up's awesome.
Yeah.
Remake of Mega Man 1, but I think the real star of the show is that level editor. It was Mario Maker back in like 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mario Maker before Mario Maker. This game was so cool. As we know, there were two big Mega Man games on PSP, this and Maverick Hunter X. And while I like the game that Maverick Hunter X is based on more than the one Mega Man Powered Up is based on, this remake is much more ambitious. And it was Mario Maker before Mario Maker with this level editor. But then you got two new Robot Masters and Time Man and Oil Man to bring it up to the standard 8. Every single Robot Master plus several versions of Mega Man and Proto Man and Roll were all playable. You got downloadable costumes for Roll. You got like special levels you could download from various like game magazines at the time, and 3 difficulty levels for every character, like unique voiced interactions for every playable character with every boss. Like this was such an ambitious remake.
This is when we
And
found out that the Yellow Devil went boomo.
yeah. Yeah. I love this game. Mega Man Powered Up is one of it might be the most ambitious Mega Man game ever, honestly, and I doubt we'll ever see its ilk again. I don't think Capcom will ever, if we ever get another Mega Man game, period, I certainly don't think we'll ever get as ambitious.
It's a
It's
shame,
crazy
too.
ambitious.
I remember at the time, a lot of people were turned off by the art style because it's very tiny bodies, very
loved
huge
it.
heads. I never actually picked it up. This is one I missed. I'm going to be playing it soon because I'm doing my own
Right.
personal Mega Man marathon, so it is coming up, and I'm actually going to be trying to show off as much as I can because, yeah, it's crazy to me that you can play this through the game with every single Robot Master and
Yeah.
Proto Man and
Yep.
Roll, and you unlock those by beating them with just the regular Mega Buster.
Yeah.
That's such a cool challenge and reward
Yeah.
to do it like that. I love the sheer concept of it. I'm not much of a level maker guy, but the fact that you can get more of those levels,
Yeah, and you can just play other people's online as well. And this was 2005. You can just go
Yeah.
on the online portion of the
Yeah.
game and just download other people's stuff and play it.
Yeah,
just
it was way ahead of its time, and this was back, when Capcom actually cared about Mega Man and was doing cool stuff with the series. And I wish we'd see kind of Capcom take this approach to Mega Man again, but I don't think we will.
it'd be really nice if they ported it to other things because I think it deserves that other chance. And I think it would
does.
find an audience if it got a port.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Yep. But yeah, number 10. And I was shocked by it. So
I'd love to
very
see
cool
it.
to see.
Yeah,
Oh, Natalie is asking if they did plan to power it up too. Yeah, they plan to power it up
did.
too, and a Maverick Hunter X2. And
Yeah.
because it was when it released on the PSP, it was on its way out. It wasn't as big at the time, and so
We
it just
failed them.
Yeah, it failed.
Yeah,
We failed them. Let's be
We
honest.
failed them.
we did.
So, yeah. Oh well, it is as it is. But let's go ahead and move on to our number 9 PSP game of all time. Only beating out Powered Up by 9 votes.
I know.
9
Man,
points.
okay.
It's
9
going to be
points.
Maverick Hunter X, isn't it?
Right.
I'll go with something that I think should be higher, but I'm going to say Luminous.
Ooh, okay. I don't know. I'll throw one out there just randomly and say Dissidia 012.
I think that's going to be a lot higher, but let's see.
By the way, that's pronounced duodecim mash.
I thought it was duodecim.
Or is it? It could be duodecim. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah.
Either way, unfortunately, both of you are incorrect. Number 9 is also a shocking one for me. It is Castlevania: The Dracula X Chronicles.
Wow. Okay.
Which
Cool.
I did not expect this to make it because it's a okay remake of
Yeah.
Rondo of Blood. I think the value in this and the reason it got voted on, honestly, is because it included the original Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night with a redub.
Right, but it's also how a lot of people first played Rondo of Blood.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
It is cool how it contains the remake and then the original and then Symphony. So I wish all remasters would do that, just like include both the new version and the old version. It just gives you more value. And the
They
remake,
dubbed it. They dubbed the original.
yeah, I don't love everything that they did to Symphony, but it's cool that it's there though.
Well, I mean more Rondo.
Oh, with
They've actually
Rondo,
dubbed,
Rondo,
yeah, they
yeah.
dubbed Rondo and all that.
Yeah,
So
right. Yeah, but yeah, it was really cool for the time. And like the 3D version of Rondo, it may not be amazing, but it's cool that it's there. Then you can just play the original Rondo, and then you can unlock Symphony, and then there's extra stuff in there as well. Yeah, it was a
an
really
extra
cool collection.
boss. It has its own sort of unique ending. It definitely shifted some things. You got a redesign for Maria, so she's a little bit less goofy with her ending.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
There's again, like Powered Up, there's just a lot of content stuffed into here, which is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm happy to see it here. It certainly deserves it. For me, the original dub, obviously, of Symphony Night is the big one. Is the one I'll always swear by. But it
doesn't
it's
feel
still,
right. But the PSP dub, and it carried on to PS4 as well. That PSP dub,
Exactly.
and it doesn't
just-
feel right.
Well,
Yeah, it doesn't.
that PS4 version that we got, the Castlevania, the whatever collection, that still hasn't come to other consoles, was basically just lifted those extras from
That's
this
right.
game,
Yeah.
left the remake in here. Requiem, thank you, Dial for Lion.
Right.
Left the remake in there, and then put those two versions for everything else. It's just so weird.
It's a cover version, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Derrick, the original Rondo of Blood, that's the Castlevania game you and I raced in during our stream, right? That one time?
No, that's Bloodlines.
Oh, that's Bloodlines. Okay, because I'm like, I'll always have nightmares of the final boss or bosses of Bloodlines because of that race. But yeah, I remember I never really took to Rondo of Blood as much as Symphony of the Night. I'm more of a Egavania guy than a Classicvania guy. But still, these are two great games, especially Symphony. But yeah, the original PS1 dub is always going to have my heart.
Yeah. I mean, that said, as Doubtful also points out, Patrick Seitz's Dracula, perfect.
Oh,
Like, that's perfect casting.
yeah.
All right. That is our number 9 PSP game of all time. Let's say we get to number 8, which beat out Dracula X Chronicles by about four, 54 points.
Okay. Do we
Okay.
stick to this kind of third-party trains? There's also there's Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins as well. I don't know if that made it on here. Ultimate Ghouls and Ghosts even. I'm gonna say LocoRoco.
You know, I was going to say LocoRoco too. That's crazy. So, you know, in the interest of diversity, I'll say Patapon.
Nice. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
At number 8, one of you is correct.
Oh,
Number 8 is Patapon.
nice. I love it.
Very, very nice.
Like I said, I actually was going to say LocoRoco too. So thank you, John, for saying that first. So I could...
I'm glad it's here. There's 3 Patapons on PSP, and they're all amazing. We're getting them back, 1 and 2, multi-platform.
I'm excited for that because this is one I missed. I missed out on a lot of the niche titles, the wacky titles on the PSP, which is a shame.
Yeah,
Patapon is an extremely cool game. You're in for a treat, Derek.
Yeah. Patapon 2 is probably my favorite one. I think the first one it's good, but it's also a little bit on like a bit more basic side. I know Vedran loves Patapon 3. He's always talking about that one. But yeah, what a cool concept though. Just sort of turning a kind of like a rhythm game into a combat adventure kind of thing. It turned the genre on its head, and it's just so rad.
Alpha Lion says Pikmin if it's a rhythm game, and that's
basically that's way better than what I said. Yeah.
Is that how? So you have like a commander, and they're ones that like you keep the rhythm, and that allows the other units to attack, I guess. Because I honestly don't really know how much of how it plays. I've just seen the visuals, and it's striking visuals at the very least.
Yeah, I mean you'll get to play it soon.
Yeah,
it's still crazy. This is a first-party Sony game, much like Everybody's Golf, and it's coming to Switch.
Right, as Jaden Buck says, which is still wild to see. Yeah.
I'm actually kind of impressed that it made to this top 10, despite, I mean, I guess people got reminded because of that, but it hasn't come out yet, so people can, try it and like, oh no, this is actually really cool. And hey, it's started on the PSP, cool, perfect. I'm going to vote for that.
Yeah, it's also one of those PSP games that doesn't really push the system, because you see a lot of like third parties going for, like PS2 sort of quality visuals. But Sony, with both Patapon and LocoRoco, just gave you these really bold, bright colors, and they look really nice on that widescreen LCD PSP screen. Like those colors just popped off. It looked amazing back then. It still looks good now.
It did.
This is why we wanted to keep around Japan studio.
Yep, exactly.
Get amazing stuff like this. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to trying out the new collection and seeing what I missed, because obviously it's quite good. It's always been well regarded. But yeah, that is our number 8 PSP game of all time. So what is number 7, which beat out Patapon by 22 points? It's been very close. Like there is
this is a very close list.
Man.
I think if you were in Japan, Monster Hunter would be number 1. In the West, it was still a pretty big deal. But I think Freedom Unite might have been a little bit like Try and World really took the storm in the West, and maybe Freedom Unite landed around here.
John, you and I are sharing a brain today. I was literally going to say that again. That was literally my guess. That's crazy. Twice in a row, we had the same guess. So again, in the interest of just diversifying our guesses, I'll say Final Fantasy Tactics: The War of the Lions.
Nice, very nice guess.
At number 7, John, you are a little early. Number 7 is LocoRoco.
Oh,
okay, nice.
We are getting one after the other here. We had Mega Man and Castlevania quite closely tied, and now it's LocoRoco and Patapon.
Yeah,
man. LocoRoco is really cool. There's a few games out there which like are made by their button assignments. Like in Shadow of the Colossus, you hold R1 sort of feel like you're gripping onto an edge. LocoRoco, you tilt it with L and R. So you just like the entire level just goes to the right when you press R, goes to the left when you press L. Press them both to jump. just feels like a really cool extension of the controller. Very very wacky art style. The screams they do when they tear apart into little pieces, and you can like shove them through little gaps. Yeah, LocoRoco rocks. So I really hope this one comes to Switch as well.
I just love this game. I mean, basically, you said everything I would have, John. It's a weird, cute, cool little game. I love the Astrobot tribute to it. The Astrobot level is
Yeah,
so cool. LocoRoco just rocks, and I'm glad to see it make the top 10. It made my top 10 as well. It was my number 10 game, PSP game of
nice.
all time, and I'm glad to see it at number 7 here. It's just a
Nice.
really cool, unique, memorable game all around.
Yeah, I'd like to see them bring it back with gyro. I think that'd be a really nice fit for
It feels like
LocoRoco.
almost
Agreed.
you look at the game and it feels like it should have gyro.
Yeah,
Just by
maybe for the Switch version.
I mean, even one with Astrobot, it used gyro, so it makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first encounter actually with LocoRoco. Once again, I just continued the train of I missed out on these titles. Like I tried out the weird titles on DS. Don't know why didn't do it on PSP. I can't remember if there was a significant price difference that would barred it for me. I can't remember if what the games cost, but for whatever reason, I just missed out on it. But again, I'd see it. It looked pretty, and I would like nowadays. I'm like, I wish I tried it, but I just again missed out on it, and I can only hope for another collection.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
happen. If Patapon's happening, LocoRoco is gonna happen. I'd be
I
shocked if it
mean,
didn't.
it basically was picked as the PSP representative in Astrobot.
Yeah,
That has to say something.
Yeah. I
So
would say so. It'd be great to see the series make a comeback. The vibes are immaculate with LocoRoco, and I'd love to see it make a comeback.
hmm
yeah, because what's the challenge in that? Because I've only seen you just manipulate the level. Is like, is there enemies? Are there like stuff to collect? Like I'm even
yeah.
trying
There's
to think of
there's
the
stuff to
Astrobot.
avoid. It's
Okay.
Mhm.
a lot of puzzle focus, just sort of making your way through things, trying to avoid obstacles. So if you hold down the circle button, you split into a bunch of different pieces, which you can then like form back together. So it's a lot of just sort of making your way through. But yeah, very quite collective funny. Yeah,
Okay.
as live audience says.
Very cool. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get to our number 6 PSP game of all time. Excuse me. This one beat out LocoRoco by 30 points.
Well, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Again,
No,
it's just been it's kind of shocking how close all these games were to one another.
Yeah.
yeah, seriously. I guess in this case, I'll go ahead and throw out Luminous.
Okay. I hope that one's here.
I hope so
Um,
too.
Ridge Racer 1 and 2
Oh,
were
so good.
amazing on
Yeah.
PSP. Ridge Racer 2 specifically is like it's arguably one of the best Ridge Racer games. So I'm gonna say Ridge Racer 2, but I'm not
Nice.
confident. I'm
Or
not
Ridge
confident in
Racer,
it though.
actually, as they called it, right?
Mm,
Ridge
mm.
Racers.
Oh, okay. All right. At number 6, this time Ash was ahead of the game. Final
Ah,
Fantasy Tactics: The
nice.
War of the Lions.
Okay. So this would have been on my top 10, but I've been trying to avoid ports, which is like I didn't put Chrono Trigger in my top 10 DS games because I'm like, no, it's a Super Nintendo game just in the interest of fairness. So I didn't put the War of the Lions in my top 10 PSP because I consider that for PS1.
Mhm.
But I mean, this is the definitive version of the game as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, there's some slowdown with the spell effects and stuff, but the localization is just chef's kiss. It's so good, especially compared to the PS1 localization and the cutscenes, the animated cutscenes they added. This is the definitive version of a phenomenal game, one of Square Enix's or then SquareSoft's very, very best. And I just adore this game.
Mm. Yeah, this is one I didn't play that much. I adore the original, but I remember very specifically the opening to this, that CG opening.
Oh, it's such a
Oh,
gorgeous art
so
style.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. But for whatever reason, I didn't stick with the PSP version. But I'm always hearing it's the best way to play.
Yeah, it's
It is.
just redone. It's sort of in the same way as Tactics Ogre got redone on
Yeah,
PSP.
yeah.
In that same way, it was a really nice showcase, and yeah, just it added its own extra stuff because like Cloud was recruitable in the original
Mm.
Final Fantasy Tactics, and here they put in Balthier from Final Fantasy
I
12,
forgot
which is
about that. Yeah.
a little bit more on point. Kind of works out, and just it's such a good version. It's very much one of those games. It's like, Square, why haven't you ported this yet? I know there's always the rumors of another remake, but port this, up the resolution, port it, and bam, you
Yeah.
got a pretty solid game that people would be very much all about. This is one of the best.
Yeah, that's one
Mhm.
of those persistent rumors that hasn't panned out yet. An FF Tactics remaster coming to modern platforms. I still have a feeling it's real, but we just haven't seen it yet. And I hope we do at some point soon, because this is a game that every generation of game enthusiasts should play. I'm not even a tactics guy. I'm not like an RTS guy, a strategy guy in general, but this game got its hooks into me. It's such an incredibly good game, and really just a standard bearer for its genre.
Mm. We're making our way through this, and this is our first Square game, and Square were all over this system, so
Mm,
I'm expecting them to show up a few more times before the
same.
end of this.
Same.
We'll have to see how often. Um, that being said, you know what we need from Square? We could get a Tactics collection because we could get Tactics Advance 2. I think it'd also be cool to get an Evilise collection to get a chance to have this
Mm.
and Vagrant Story,
Yeah,
a bunch of those other side Evilise games.
yeah,
Mhm.
totally.
So love to see that, but we'll see what ends up happening. Instead, we've reached the top 5 PSP games of all time. What is our number 5, beating out Tactics by 16 points? Just had to do some
Wow.
quick math.
Man.
I'm gonna stick with Final Fantasy and say Final Fantasy IV Complete.
Ooh, good
Ooh.
one. I'll swap with John this time. It would shock me if Ridge Racer anything made it in the top 5, but I love Ridge Racer so much that I can't not vote for it at least one time. So I'll say Ridge Racers 2. We never got Ridge Racers 2 here in the US, by the way. That was one of the few Ridge Racer games we didn't get.
Oh,
So I
really?
didn't play it, but I always heard it was even better than Ridge Racers 1, which I
Yeah.
loved. And that was in my top 10. So I'll just say Ridge Racers 2.
Okay. Uh, at number 5, John, you're close in that it is a Final Fantasy.
Crisis
Ooh.
Core.
Instead, it's
It's Crisis Core. Oh,
Oh, it's
Dissidia Duodecim,
oh,
okay.
Final
Okay.
okay,
Fantasy, the
yeah.
fighting game. Yep.
I thought this might be like top 3, to be honest. As I
Okay.
know so many PSP fans who just played this non-stop. Like, this just
There's
went on for
so
the entire
much
life
in
cycle.
this game.
There's
Yeah,
a lot in this game. Yeah.
yeah.
I never played this one as much as I did the original. I was all over the original, and for whatever reason, I just didn't play Duodecim as much, even though it's generally considered the superior game. I can't say why. Um,
I
yeah,
mean, it does include the entire storyline of the first game in its
yeah, yeah.
and has
Mm,
it's one of those where it just puts all that in. Plus, you have its own original thing and the extra characters and so forth. It's a bit more refined. The single player is made a lot more interesting because you have a little bit of an overworld to explore
Mhm.
this time around. So there's just a lot to it. Like it's just so friggin' content rich.
yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
It
Like,
felt like we're kind of at the heights of Final Fantasy at this point because
Mhm.
it wasn't that long after 12. I think 13 was probably when this one came out.
mhm.
And so you still had the highs of like the PS1, PS2 era, and it's just all these characters coming together and just whacking each other. There was so many numbers flying everywhere. It felt like Advent Children in the way you can just jump around and sort of fly everywhere. Yeah, it was
Mhm.
off the hooks. This I've got friends who like this is their defining PSP game.
Yeah.
I really that should be the back of the box description. What you just said, John. Final Fantasy characters just whacking each other. That should be the back of
For
the
big
box.
text.
Yeah.
It is the pinnacle of Square Enix being we have to be different and weird as far as
Mm,
our combat because you do get the spectacle of it being a 3D arena fighter, how you can run up walls, you can ride on rails, all that stuff is for movement options as you're going along. You got the different tactics of like characters being more melee based, being more magic based, being how different it is each time. But the actual combat, it comes down to you have these brave points and you have these HP points, and you have to lower their brave points to give you enough power to do more damage to their HP, because if your brave points are more even, then you don't do as much damage to the HP. And it sounds confusing, but once you
Mhm.
get into it, it does make its own weird sense of sense. Weird, but it's an odd beast. But it also hasn't been replicated because we got Dissidia NT, which is a
Mm.
team-based Dissidia fighter that was just not as good.
Yeah, I picked that one up really cheap a few years after it came out.
Mhm.
Played it once and thought this doesn't feel right. This isn't
No,
Dissidia.
it felt
Yeah.
so off.
It's a
Yeah.
shame too, because like a Final Fantasy crossover fighter should be a slam dunk, and it was for the first two Dissidia games, and then just the series' legacy has really been so tarnished with, and I mean I should say the sub series, the Dissidia sub series' legacy has been tarnished with NT, and it's too bad because it's otherwise should be such a slam dunk. It's all these iconic characters coming together to whack each other, as John so eloquently said earlier, and it should be something that Square should be able to continue to capitalize on, and they just haven't,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
If it could get a remaster in the same way as Crisis Core,
Yeah.
and maybe even redub it a bit since the update, because it is weird to go back and hear Cloud's and Tifa's old voice actors. I
Yeah.
want the new actors.
I forgot about
Um,
this too, but Alpha Lion says this was the game that finally confirmed Zidane's pronunciation. I forgot
that's
about
true.
that, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, there was
Mhm.
that, and it was definitely around the time of Final Fantasy 13 because Lightning was front and center.
Yeah.
It was also weird because you got like Yuna and Laguna and all that,
Right,
like
right.
and Kane. So there's some fun secondary characters, not just the main hero, main villain.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I mean, I appreciate it, but I'm curious what everybody else thinks. But yeah, let's go ahead and see what our number 4 PSP game of all time is. And this is our first big jump because there is between Dissidia and our next game is roughly 250 points.
Oh, and it's been like 7, 10 from all the others, so pretty big.
Yeah, it's been all pretty close.
Yeah.
But this is our first
Man.
big jump.
So number 4, I'm gonna say my personal number 1, which is one of my favorite Metal Gear games, Peace Walker, the true MGS5.
3 times now, John. 3 times. I swear to God, man. 3 times we had the same vote. Oh man, I am not prepared for an alternate vote.
We have a lot of Square games left. There's still Final Fantasy IV, Crisis Core, Birth
Yeah,
by
but I
Sleep.
kind of thought that would be higher, but I can't think of anything in the moment, so I'll just say Crisis Core. Sure,
All right.
I'll say Crisis Core.
All right. At number 4, you guys should have just voted together because it's Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker.
Oh, damn it!
This
Damn
it is
it!
so good. Like,
It's such a great game.
Portable Ops was okay. This one though felt like just a true mainline Metal Gear, and it is. You got to get around the face buttons being the camera. That feels a bit weird at first, but once you get that, you just get a true successor to MGS3. It's so ambitious for what it is too. And I drastically prefer this to 5. I think this is a way more
Same.
satisfying and better game than 5 is.
I adore Peace Walker. What a fantastic game, and it is the definition of an absolutely bonkers Metal Gear story.
Oh,
The
yeah.
story is just so bonkers, and the ending especially, as completely crazy and ridiculous as it is, it definitely got me emotional, got me in my feels. It's really a satisfying send off for the Snake Eater story. It's definitely a sequel of sorts to Snake Eater. And if you're willing to suspend your disbelief and go full in on the bonkers ass Metal Gear lore, there's a really emotionally resonant core here with the plot, and
Mm.
it was so ambitious, especially for the PSP. What an excellent game!
It had multiplayer. Like, you could do
Yeah,
any mission
Right?
with like 4 people. And some missions kind of felt like they were made for it. I remember one where you're fighting a tank, and that one it felt like a bit of a sponge. And I imagine with 4 people that would have been a bit better. But most
yeah.
missions flow really well on your own. And as me vs Mod said, there's a Monster Hunter cameo. There's a Rathlos fight
Right.
where Snake can just freaking shoot a dragon. It's crazy. It's so good.
Yeah.
And
It's
it
a
builds upon
precursor to the movie that came
MGS3.
out, the live action movie that came out.
I guess it was the preview of that. But it's ahead of MGS3 though, because the Snake can crawl while moving. There's a few MGS4 mechanics in there. It grows beyond MGS4 in a few ways as well. I think this game's just absolutely must play.
Yeah.
This is one I need to play because after the conclusion of Metal Gear Solid 4, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm like,
which
I
is
was
fair.
so satisfied with that ending that to me is like, why are we going back to Big Boss again? What's the point? I obviously get another story in there, get more game, but it's just like, I don't know. I was just so narratively satisfied. I was like, I don't need this. And I just
Yeah.
sort of like, I heard it was good and
Mhm.
I just sort of, but I still sort of just skipped it. It was weird. I was so satisfied with one game that I didn't feel the need to play another. It's a very odd
I think that's fine. Like
reason.
four is a great ending. It doesn't need more, but
No.
Peace Walker is terrific if you ever decide to go back.
I mean, I think I have a collection with it in, so I should play it at some point.
And specifically as a sequel to Snake Eater, it's worth
Yeah.
playing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love Snake Eater, so I know I'd enjoy this game. It probably would make my top 10. I just didn't play it because I was too satisfied with 4.
Yeah.
And like
Weird.
and honestly, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, but even for Kojima and even for Metal Gear, the story is especially bonkers in the best way. It's like so thoroughly pure ass Metal Gear in that bonkers way, and it's great.
Mm.
And then you can forget about 5.
Yes. Yes.
Like and 5, a lot of people do love 5. And 5 is a
I'm
fun
not one
game,
of
but
them.
it wasn't my thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
same.
All righty. Well, Peace Walker. I mean, it really comes down to like, man, I really did miss out. Even though I owned a PSP, I missed out on the PSP.
I want to retroactively. I wish I just would have voted in tandem with you and not tried to find a different game because I didn't know what else to think.
I like the divide and conquer tactics though. Like one of you, like it worked out with
Yeah.
Patapon.
Yeah,
It
that's
did. It did.
true.
But I
Yeah.
know Peace Walker does, in my opinion, it deserves to be like right at the top. But I
Mhm.
respect number 4.
Yeah. All right. We've reached our top 3. What is our number 3 PSP game
Man.
of all time, beating out Peace Walker by around 150 points?
Sonic Q mentions Metal Gear Acid. It's not going to be here, but PSP had it had Portable Ops, it had Peace Walker, had Acid 1 and Acid 2. What a time for Metal Gear.
Mhm.
I think we're probably in Square Enix domination territory now
I think
because
so.
we have Crisis Core, Kingdom Hearts, and Final Fantasy 4 still to come.
Do we think FF4 is going to be top 3 though? Not
I
saying it
think it
doesn't deserve
might.
it.
It's like the
You think
best
so?
version of that game.
It is. It is.
But there's also more Sony stuff. Like there's Ratchet and Clank Size Matters, which is fine. There's Daxter. There's there's other things that could be here.
There's
I
also
don't.
Persona 3 Portable, which hasn't come up.
Oh yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you are.
I'm gonna
I think
put
you're right in
that one
saying.
forward. I'm gonna say Persona 3 Portable.
Yeah, I think you're right in saying that Final Fantasy 4 probably isn't here, and Persona 3 Portable is, and then Crisis Core and Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. All right, I'll put P3P as my guess.
Okay. I'll say Crisis Core here then.
Okay.
All right. At number 3, boy, Ash saved your butt. Persona 3 Portable. I'm like, I'm not hearing Persona at all.
I somehow forgot entirely.
I'm like,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Nice.
This was huge though at the time. It wasn't like we basically got the entire Persona 3 on there, and in many ways it was better. You can no longer do you have to trust the AI in battles. You can just choose what everyone's
that is a
moves
big
are.
difference.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing is, they've gotten rid of being able to roam around in the world, and now it's just kind of visual novelty where you choose where you want to go from a menu, like move a cursor around. But the Tartarus and the dungeons were still, fully 3D, so it still felt really big and ambitious. And then you get the whole for female protagonist story with its own music. It's changes in the story. There's like a Catherine cameo. This thing was packed. It was way more than just a simple port.
I don't think I remember there was a Catherine cameo. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think Vincent's in a bar somewhere.
Yeah, you can it's right before Catherine came out too. You just find Vincent. He has sort of a proto design too. I don't think he was too like fully realized yet. He definitely acts different.
Yeah.
But it gave you a little taste of Catherine to come. But yeah, it's the fact that you can control, the fact that you have this entire femc, and the fact that she has her own personality. I think that's the other key thing, is that she doesn't act exactly like the male protagonist. She is her own thing. And I never played through her storyline, but having played Persona Q2, she is featured in that game voice and everything, and like this girl's wonderful.
Yeah, she's
Like
great.
you
Yeah.
immediately see why she's such a
I-
great character, and they really play with her storyline. In fact, that she is sort of an alternate to the alternate.
Yeah, and she gives you a whole new soundtrack. So the battle theme is different. Just roaming around the school, the theme is different. It feels very distant from the main story. And I
Mhm.
still prefer playing this on PSP because the HD re-release did a lot of AI background upscaling, and a
Mm.
lot of it looks kind of weird and smooth. Whereas PSP, you get those sharp pixels, and especially on the PSP screen, it looks great. Blow it up a bit pixely, but down on that handheld, I think it still looks amazing.
No, I never played this myself, but I know that Kotone is popular enough that a lot of people were pretty upset that she wasn't in, or they didn't include her story or anything from
Yeah.
P3P in Persona 3 Reload. That
Mm.
was kind of a big deal when
I
Reload came
mean,
out.
to the point that a lot of people still don't like. A lot of people consider that we still don't have a definitive Persona 3 version
Right.
just because she's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As Sonic just said, not putting her in P3R was a huge mistake.
very
I
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely a lot of work, but I it feels like work that was worth it because
Mhm.
she is so beloved. This is such a beloved version of this game, and I think for a lot of people, even their first experience with Persona 3.
Yeah, this is partially why a lot of people associate Persona with handhelds. After
Yeah.
this, Vita got golden,
Yeah,
and I
and even
think
before this, there was Persona 1 and 2 on PSP,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
unfortunately, like, it was so weird. We never got Persona 2 1 on PS1, but we got Persona 2 2, but we got
yeah,
Persona 2 1 on PSP, but not Persona 2 2, which is like, why?
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I personally view this as a handheld series. It's just so
Mhm.
easy to pick up and play the PSP and Vita games. And it's always easy to just stop. Like whether you're roaming, whether you're in a dungeon, there's always a good hold off point. And
Mhm.
so it felt really nice when Persona 5 finally came to the Switch after all those years of waiting. And hopefully this is something that just continues on. Like hopefully Persona stays with portable accessibility.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 Reload will come to Switch too.
I remember seeing a few reviews of like somebody who was so used to playing Persona on handheld that Persona 5 came out. I was like, it's weird. I
Yeah,
don't know if I like playing on console.
yeah.
Mhm.
And that flexibility is a huge part of the game for me.
Yeah. So good stuff. So I expected this to be here.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah.
sure how high it would get, but I definitely expected it to be here. All right, we're down to our top two PSP games of all time. This one beat out Persona 3 Portable by 140 points.
So it's Crisis
I
Core or
mean,
Kingdom Hearts.
it's one of these two games. It's one of those two. I'm gonna say it's Crisis Core for
I feel like it's
that's my
Crisis
guess.
Core as well.
Yeah.
Are we gonna double down on that or are we gonna be safe?
I'm thinking I think it's gotta be Crisis Core. I don't feel
Mm.
comfortable. I mean, it's like you said, it's either Crisis Core or it's Kingdom Hearts, but I think Kingdom Hearts is gonna be number one. So
Derrick had the shifty eyes when I said, should we double down on that? And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
See, I'm trying to put the poker face
Yeah.
yeah.
on as much as possible.
We'll be safe. I'll say Kingdom Hearts, you say Crisis Core.
Okay, I'll say okay. Sounds good.
All right. At number two, Crisis Core.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
I was like, Kingdom Hearts gotta be number one, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Crisis Core. Crisis Core makes the compilation of Final Fantasy VII worth it.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The
Because
one
before
good
this
thing,
point,
great thing.
ugh.
Yeah. I do have a soft spot for Advent Children, even though it's not a
So do I.
particularly great
Yeah,
movie. I still have a soft spot for it, but like in terms of just sheer
but coming off
objective
of
quality, yeah.
what was it? Vincent's game.
Oh, Doja Cerberus.
Yeah, coming off
Oh
Dirge of Cerberus.
God.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
like, I hope this is good. And then you get it. It's like, oh, this is actually really good. It has,
Mm.
looking back, it has its issues, of course. But Zach as a character really carries this game.
Yeah. I mean, I played this right before the remake came out for a video. And the remake does some cool stuff too, but I think going back, its flaws are a bit more obvious. However, at the time, this was like the showcase PSP game. You
Yeah.
put it next to a DS, and they're not comparable. It felt like you
Mhm.
had a PS2 in your hands, and you're going back to these Final Fantasy VII locations, which used to be pre-rendered 2D images, and now they're fully realized in 3D. It felt super good seeing that world and those characters again, and it is a little bit small. Like you're going through these quite small areas. It is quite linear, but still, what it did was just mind blowing at the time, visually and presentation wise. I never quite understood the battle system with the roulette wheels that sometimes do good things and sometimes do bad things, but it paid off for what the ending did, though.
Yes, yes.
I
It
actually
just
was, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
the game nails the ending, and that's that was definitely something everybody was curious about. I was like, how are they going to handle the ending? And honestly, it improves Zach's story so much. Like you watch what Zach's story is in the original Final Fantasy VII, and you look at the end of this game, and it's like, no, this is a more proper send off for Zach.
Man,
Yeah,
like
100%.
especially going into the game with knowledge of what happens, to Zach in the original FF7, you just wonder what the path is to get there, and you're like, but even if you know, even you have previous knowledge of what happens to him, the way they handle it is just it drives that emotional point home so effectively. And the price of freedom, the track that plays during Zach's final
Yeah.
battle is always going to be one of my favorite Final Fantasy tracks of all time. It's one of my wife's favorites. You can say less about Genesis and and the way they introduced him as a villain. He's kind of weird, but the core story of Zach and the way they flesh out his story, and he's so eminently likable as a character. And I just got to ask you guys, would you say I became a hero? That one line, man. That's it. That just, oh, this game is so good. And I would say that it kind of held kind of the innate appeal of FF7 Remake before Remake, because as you said, Sean, this was the first time that we got to explore the world of FF7 in 3D and like with higher detail and more of a
voice
modern
acting.
presentation.
Like
And
you hear
voice
what
acting.
Cloud and Tifa sound like.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, and I was so grateful after the complete train wreck that was Mina Suvari's voice acting for Aerith.
Yeah.
I was looking up who was it. Andrea Bowen was the
Okay.
voice actor for Aerith in Crisis Core and up to Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. And oh my God, she was so much better. She captured her so much perfectly. Brianna White has better script to work off of, but she just it really, like, I was so worried about that that the romance would fall flat because Mina Samara is a good actress. She just was so flat as Aerith. I don't know why.
And the way this game depicted Zach and Aerith's relationship was just heartbreaking. It was so cute and so sweet, and also so heartbreaking given what eventually happens. And man, I mean, Crisis Core, I think, is really the reason that Zach now in games like FF7 Rebirth is such a beloved character. This was the game that defined him as such a lovable character.
Yeah,
Completely.
100%. And the PSP version as well. Live Audience was just saying this too, but I really like how Zach sounds on the PSP.
Me too.
They
Rick
redubbed
Gomez.
him with the remake voice actor in Crisis Core HD, and he's good too. But PSP Crisis Core, I don't know the voice actor's name, but he's just he fits the character so well.
Do we know why they didn't get Rick Gomez back?
I'm not sure.
I think it was just a part of the whole complete recasting.
Yeah, I guess so.
He was so good.
But it's good, and honestly, special shout out to the three-way it's just a cutscene, but the three-way fight scene on top of the cannon is so
like
good.
All the CG cutscenes are like
so
Advent
cool.
Children quality.
Yeah.
And just tucked into a PSP game.
So tangentially related, but I'm just going to put it out there. Are we going to see Genesis? Is he finally going to come back and remake part 3? Is it going to happen?
There's hints towards Genesis in part 1, I believe.
Yeah,
they had Deep Ground show up in the Yuffie stuff. So
yeah,
he's lurking somewhere.
I can see him being like a bonus boss or something like that.
Alpha Line, those sound effects or those voice clips are etched in my brain forever. Activating combat mode and conflict resolved.
Yeah,
those are those are in my brain permanently.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get to our number 1 PSP game of all time, beating out Crisis Core. by 100 points.
Man.
I mean, we already said it. There's only one game this could possibly be.
Yeah.
It's obviously Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. I
Or
mean,
Ridge Racer 2.
or Ridge Racer. Yeah, exactly.
All right, at number 1, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep.
I mean, what else
I
could it
mean,
be?
I think this was everybody expected this. The Kingdom Hearts fans definitely came out for the series on PS2. In my opinion, I still think this is the best Kingdom Hearts game overall.
I think
Oh,
so
This
too.
is my
wow.
this is my favorite Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah, I go back and forth between this and Kingdom Hearts 2, but I think gun to my head, Birth by Sleep might still be my favorite. I love the action command or whatever they called it, but the battle system specifically
You can
in Birth by
horribly
Sleep.
break it. Like you can make it
Yes.
just that game
Yeah,
so
you
easy
can.
through it, but
It's
Yeah.
so funny watching Ash talk about this with a Sora just like right behind him, Goofy in tow.
Yeah. I mean, you know me, I mean, Derrick and I both are massive Kingdom Hearts fans. And I mean, I remember, of course, the secret movie from Kingdom Hearts 2, well, movies from 2 and 2 Final Mix, teasing Birth by Sleep and teasing these new characters, and remembering that Birth by Sleep, when you actually played it, it so delivers on the hype of being a prequel to the original Kingdom Hearts and delivering all the story beats that you would expect from such a thing. When you realize what Terra becomes, and when you realize how Ventus relates to Sora and how Vanitas relates, it's so good. It's so satisfying if you're a lore nerd for Kingdom Hearts, right? And I just adore this game just because I adore Kingdom Hearts.
it also story-wise, I think solves a pretty significant problem that I think a lot of Kingdom Hearts games have, where they have very saggy middles, where it's like,
Mhm.
okay, we got this really interesting opening, we got this really cool ending, but in the middle, it's just, yeah, we're visiting Disney Worlds, which is cool, but not much is happening plot-wise. It's just seems like it's like slowly moving things about. But with Birth by Sleep, you have 3 truncated storylines that all tie into one another. So I'm always invested in seeing what happens where, how this ties in. Oh, you only get a third of the full story of a Disney World with each one. Where like, oh, it starts out with this thing with Terra, but then you come in and see this aspect of the movie with Ventus, and then here's this other aspect with Aqua, and it just kept it interesting throughout the entire game, and to get get its final story once you do all 3 of those, um and just all the various the things you can do in it. It plays well. You got new worlds. The fact that we finally got Cinderella, we got Snow White, we got Sleeping Beauty. That was significant because we were playing up to this point. We were playing with the same worlds so many
Right.
damn times. That's why 358 was so rough, because it's like, yep, been here before, seen
Mhm.
this.
Hmm.
Same with Recoded, same with Chains of Memory. So to have a spin off, actually have new worlds, was so significant.
And speaking of the DS stuff, though, this is another example of like you put the two by side, and what Square did with Kingdom Hearts on the DS was really impressive. But then you compare it to PSP, and it's like this looks like PS2, if not
Yeah.
better in some ways. And
Mhm.
they somehow achieved that on something that is like drastically less powerful than PS2, but they managed to squeeze what felt like a full-fledged numerical Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
as pointed out, my God, Xehanort just eats in
Oh,
every single scene.
yep.
Um,
Leonard Nimoy, man, he was
I
he.
wish he had been around for the entire series, because he is still the best Xehanort
Oh
actor.
yeah,
Mm.
easily, and he absolutely defined that character, and he was so. I think he was the character was at his best in Birth by Sleep, and Leonard Nimoy was just perfect.
Mhm.
And as I said, I mean, you've got some of Kingdom Hearts' most iconic moments all in this game. I mean, every character's final battle, pick one. They're all amazing in this game. They're all so good. And again, the way they tie into the larger Kingdom Hearts narrative, and the way it all ties together. If you've been following the series from the first game, there are so many
They tie it into the
ridiculously
super
satisfying
boss from
moments.
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Exactly.
That's how far they go with this.
Yeah, it's so good. And then particularly I would say Terra and Aqua's final battles, the way those tie into Kingdom Hearts 1. And I, again, for people maybe watching who haven't played the whole series, I don't want to spoil anything, but man, this is absolutely required playing. If you're a Kingdom Hearts lore nerd, you cannot skip this game. This game has so many satisfying moments and just lore moments. It's so good.
Yeah, it's this is definitely one for the Kingdom Hearts fans out there.
Oh yeah.
That tends to be a lot of us. So I'm personally happy to see it number one. I don't know how other people will feel, but as John pointed out, very dominated by Square Enix. Like
Yeah.
Sony's
Yeah.
own games only showed up in 2 of the spots of their own
Right.
system.
And it wasn't even the big stuff. It was their 2D things.
Yeah,
they,
they're 2D,
they
like
had
little tiny.
they had
like,
Ratchet. They had Jack with Daxter on there. They had
God of War.
yeah, God
Mhm.
of War was like massive on PSP.
Yeah. So it's funny what rises to the top, but yeah, we got our Square Enix fans in here, and they they definitely showed up. But again, I did not expect Mega Man or Castlevania to make these top 10s.
Same.
I thought Powered Up might, but I wasn't so sure about Castlevania.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'd say a pretty solid top 10, all things considered.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no Luminous, but other than that, not bad.
Yeah, no Luminous, no, and I wasn't expecting it, but no Maverick Hunter X.
And
I
Ridge
figured of
Racer,
the two,
Ridge
Mega
Racer
Man, no
should
Ridge
be
Racers.
there.
Yeah,
It should
the other one here, the one that I was very curious about whether they would show up or not, enough was the Trails fans, because this is where it got its start.
Yeah.
So
I think this is the one platform where well, apart from PS2, where I'm kind of surprised that GTA wasn't there, because that was another just sort of headliner. It's like you got this.
I wonder if it
basically
was
got
like sort of negated by the fact that both those came to PS2.
Yeah, they did. I think they're still better on PSP.
Oh,
but,
they tended to
yeah.
be. Like Size Matters came to PS2 and it was better on PSP.
Yeah.
So
and I personally in my top 3, and I probably love this game more than most. I'm obviously a rhythm guy, but I didn't expect to see it. But Sound Shapes was such a cool game.
Oh, yeah.
That was my number 3 in my personal list, and I didn't expect to see it here, but I am curious eventually to find out, Derek, how Sound Shapes did. If anyone else voted for it.
Let's see where they landed.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at our top 50. Expand out here. So at number 11, missing out on the top 10 by about 30 points, Daxter.
Oh, okay.
Daxter's good.
Yeah.
I think there's still better stuff. It's way better than Jack 4. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, it's just weird. It's like, oh, what was Daxter doing in the time with that Jack was captured in Jack 2? Oh, he was hunting bugs. Okay. Sure. This is the one bit of well, I never played Lost Frontier either, but yeah, I've never picked up Daxter, weirdly enough.
Yeah, it's worth playing.
At number 12, God of War Chains of Olympus, losing out to Daxter by 24 points.
Yeah, this was another one of those games that just felt so in parallel to what PS2 was doing. It just felt like an on-the-go version of 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's honestly really impressive how well it plays. Get a little extra lore there. But I think this was the first prequel for God of War because it took place before the first game.
Right.
So, yeah. At number 13, missing out by 40 points, Mega Man Maverick Hunter X.
Pretty respectable showing for Maverick Hunter X. Yeah. Happy to see that.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't have as much content as Powered Up, but still a great game. I got that Day of Sigma short, which is amazing, and really made you wish this is the one that I wanted to see continue much more so than Powered Up, because it was going to, the whole plan of it was to clean up the storyline, to have a definitive storyline for the X series. And
Maverick
boy,
Hunter
did
X5 would have been
3,
so hype.
4, yeah, exactly. X5 would have been.
No, they have never ported the PSP Mega Man stuff. No,
nope.
That's still exclusive.
In a different, better timeline, the Day of Sigma short would have been spun off into a full Mega Man X anime series at that quality, and it would have been peak. It would have been perfect.
You know what? These two games make for great additions if they ever put out that Legends collection.
Hell yeah, they would.
That would be perfect.
Because Legends was also on PSP, but yeah.
In Japan it was, yeah.
Yeah. At number 14, losing out to Maverick Hunter by only 5 points.
Oh wow.
The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky.
Yeah, this had a very big niche following. It felt like it was at home on PSP. This was the place to play it.
Yeah. I wondered if Trails would make it in, and it missed it by 100 points to make it into that top 10. But that's still a pretty decent showing for what is kind of a niche game. And
yeah,
maybe it'll get beyond niche because it's you get that remake this September.
True.
So we'll see it. At number 15, losing out the Trails by 2 points, God of War Goes to Sparta.
Okay.
This is when you learn about Kratos' brother.
Yeah, they're both great. Both PSP games are great.
Yeah. Number 16, Monster Hunter Freedom 2/Unite.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in Japan, this would be like number 1.
Yeah.
It absolutely would be. PSP is where Monster Hunter really got its legs.
Yeah, PS2 is where it started, but PSP is really where it took off.
Without a doubt. Number 17, The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, second chapter. So literally just a continuation. Like most people package them together because the storylines are so connected.
Yeah.
At number 18, Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories.
Nice. I think in many lists this would be in the top 10. It's basically portable GTA 3. A game that was like 4 years old at that time in your hands. Yeah, it was super cool just to drive around anywhere.
Yeah. Here's the crazy thing, John. At number 19, losing it by 1 point. There was a 1 point difference between the two games. Vice City Stories.
Oh wow. Okay.
Which is
so it makes
the
me
better
wonder,
one.
Like, they cannibalize each other. I wonder if they cannibalized each other a little bit because it's so close.
Yeah, maybe they did. I think Vice City Stories was the better one. Vice City is more interesting than Liberty City in general.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And you get it. I think the protagonist is also a little bit more interesting because it's Lance Vance's brother, who is way more of an interesting character than Lance himself. And before it's just some random wasn't the main character of Liberty City Stories the guy who had like the crazy possessive mother?
Yeah, so he's like a pretty minor character in GTA 3, and they just made him the protagonist of Stories. But yeah, it was that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. At number 20. And I suspect this one is very much not as big, but of the same sort of idea as the Pikmin manipulation. Little Big Planet.
Oh, okay.
Because it did all right throughout, but then there was a chunk where it's like all of them, like very similar voting with Little Big Planet as number 1 for like 6 or 7 votes in a row.
Probably have a good showing on PS3 though. The PSP version was good, but it wasn't the prime place for Little Big Planet.
No, and I never played the PSP version, but we got 3 Little Big Planets on the PS3, so we'll see how that does.
And karting, can't forget Little Big Planet karting.
Oh yeah, we did get that.
I forgot about that game. Wow, yeah.
But yeah, definitely some outpouring of love from some section of fandom for this one for Little Big Planet. All right, number 21. We'll go these a little bit quicker now. Dissidia Final Fantasy, the original.
Basically the same.
Yeah. Number 22, Lumines. That's
nice.
Man, this should be way higher.
It should be higher though.
Yeah.
Mining game.
Higher. Yeah.
It really should have at least made the top 20, but probably should have been higher still. But
yeah.
Oh well. Number 23, Persona 2 Innocent Sin. Good showing for that game, honestly.
Yeah.
24, Jeanne d'Arc.
I hear so often that this is great. I've never played it.
Same here.
It's level 5, right?
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
I've
level
really
5.
think so. Yeah.
So
yeah, I need to rectify
that. 25. I forgot that this wasn't. I forgot that most Americans know it from the Vita. I forgot that it originally came out on PSP in Japan only.
Oh,
Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc.
Yeah. I think of this as a Vita game.
Yeah.
Have we really hit 25 with no Ridge Racer? That's crazy.
It is crazy. It is.
Wow.
Yeah,
Ridge
we
Racer's
got
in
we
kind
got
of
Japan only
forgotten.
Danganronpa
Yeah.
port, and no Ridge Racer. What is this?
I know.
At number 26, Final Fantasy IV: The Complete Collection.
Yeah, this should be a lot higher.
That should be higher.
It is
Yeah.
it is the best version of Final
It-
Fantasy
it-
IV.
This is
It's
where you
easily,
play.
yeah.
gorgeous sprite work.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
It's
Yep.
a lot better than Pixel Remaster. And then you also got the complete story from you get the after years from WiiWare as well.
Right.
Like there's a
And you
lot.
get the
packed in
interlude,
there.
Nice
which is still
preservation, which also is like, eh.
interlude is
Yeah.
still specific to this version, right? I
Might
think
be. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
because there's like a mini story between the original and the after years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that at least. At 27, Valkyria Chronicles 2,
Mm.
Oh, cool.
which is a
yeah.
pretty decent showing. Gives
Mhm.
me hope that I can get Valkyria Chronicles into the top 10 on PS3. Because that is my favorite game on PS3. So I'm gonna be
Mhm.
I think that'll be a good showing.
campaigning.
Yeah.
Number 28, only losing to Valkyria Chronicles by 1 point.
Oh wow.
Ys, the Oath in Felghana.
Ah, very
I always heard
nice.
this is one of the better East games. I haven't played it, but I've always heard good things.
It's one of the first remakes of Ys 3, and honestly, I think it also just got a another new remake on Switch
I think it did. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
just recently. So, one to look out for. 29, LocoRoco 2,
Cool.
Okay.
and at 30, Patapon 2. I just realized that the once again the sequels ended up right next to each other, with
Mhm.
LocoRoco still coming out on top of Patapon.
I feel like LocoRoco 2 is a little bit more of the same, but Patapon 2 is it's a lot better than the first game, I'd say. But it's one of
Mhm.
those, like, I think more people just the first game's really iconic. That's kind of why it ranks so high.
Yeah. At 31, Tactics Ogre, Let Us Cling Together.
Nice.
You like your Final Fantasy Tactics? This gets you more Final Fantasy Tactics. Same creator and all. 32, Ratchet and Clank Size Matters.
It's fine.
It's
Mhm.
honestly, I wouldn't put it in the top 50.
Same. Yeah.
It's
It's all right. It's portable Ratchet and Clank.
it does the job, but there's issues. It is not nearly as fun. Like when I played God of War, it felt like God of War on on
Yeah.
handheld.
Yeah.
You don't get that same feeling out of Ratchet and Clank.
Where
Size
do you
Matters.
rank this against Secret Agent Clank?
I think I like. Oh. At first, I was like, I think I like Secret Agent Clank a little bit more, but there's some sections of Secret Agent Clank that drag.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Ratchet didn't have the best outing on PSP.
No, not really.
Ugh, but either way, number 33, actually tied for number 33, Wipeout Pure and Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops.
Okay.
Both very good. Wipeout was great on PSP. Portable
Wipeout should be a little
Ops-
higher, honestly.
Yeah, Portable Ops is pretty good. It's no Peace Walker, but it's still ambitious.
I hear it's
Yeah.
just not much of a story to it as well.
Yeah, it's not canon now either.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Oh,
that
that's
it's not
right.
canon. Sheesh.
Yeah.
At 35, Burnout Legends.
Still no Ridge Racer.
So Wipeout and Burnout above Ridge Racer. This is crazy. Ridge Racer's getting done dirty. in
Yeah.
this.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe that arcade classics is going to help it a lot because people seem to have forgotten Ridge Racer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
At 36, The Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
So more
Cool.
Trails fandom. 37. A lot of people are going to be upset this isn't higher. Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection.
Oh, I'm
I've
mad. Yeah, this was my Tekken.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had a friend growing up who had Tekken 3, but this was my first Tekken, and I played so much of this. The PSP port is just tremendous. They squeezed
Yeah.
so much into this little handheld version.
Yeah, a lot of people like this is like as Shell Shock says, best version of Tekken 5. Like it
Nice.
is a little shocking, but again, much like some other franchises, they don't re-release Tekkens. So
Yeah.
it's always just about the new hotness. So you forget that legacy. At 38, Me and My Katamari.
Nice.
Cool.
At 39, The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero.
Legend of
All
Heroes is dominating.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of Trails games on PSP. At number 40, Ridge Racer.
Finally.
I think
Jeez.
that we need to give people a good little sit down and talk to them
Agreed.
because
Agreed.
they have been very poorly informed. It's,
Mm.
it's so good.
To be
Yeah.
fair,
It's one of
I've
the
never
best.
played a Ridge Racer.
You've got to get this right
Really?
now.
Dude,
Yeah.
you gotta
Yeah.
fix that, man.
Yeah.
Burnout was my arcade racer. Burnout.
Yeah.
Need
This
for
is one of the
Speed.
best in the whole series, though. They
Oh,
pulled off all
wow.
the stops on PSP.
But everyone,
Dang.
all of you, you're in timeout. John and I have to sit down with you and have a talk about Ridge
Yeah.
Racer. You're in timeout.
There you go. All right. At 41, Shin Megami Tensei Persona.
Nice.
Okay.
So I got that Persona remake in there. 42, Ape Escape on the Loose. The remake, which
I've not played this one.
I've not either.
I don't know how it
I'd
works
imagine-
though, because there's no stick. There's no
Yeah,
right
I
stick.
don't know either. That seems weird.
Mm.
I don't
Okay.
quite get it.
I played Ape Academy, which wasn't great either. But I'm
Yeah.
curious about this one.
I don't really know much. At 43, East 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
So another good one. At 44, tied. We got a tie here. Sonic Rivals 2 and Half Minute Hero.
Oh, Half Minute
Alright.
Hero. That's a cool shout. Sonic
Half-
Rivals isn't bad. It's Sonic Rush is a lot more interesting, I think. But Rivals was fun enough.
Rivals 2 is definitely the better of the two Rivals games, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Rivals 2 are two of the very few Sonic games I haven't played. I just never got around to them.
There's not really a lot to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
They're not
from everything I've seen,
bad.
it just
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not bad. They're just kind of fine.
Mhm.
yeah. Half Minute Hero though is a very interesting game. Like you would talk
Yeah.
about quick pick up and play games. It's a wild one. 46. Danganronpa 2.
All right.
I don't think I realized 2 was done on PSP.
Yeah. Apparently in Japan it was called Super Danganronpa 2. So funny. Tied at 47, Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky the third and Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast.
Cool.
I forgot there was an Outrun game on PSP. I never played it.
Crazy Taxi was also on PSP.
Oh wow.
And so was
Yeah.
Power Stone. Sega were doing pretty well porting that
Right.
stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were. And finally, at 49, almost skipped one. Which I realized I skipped one when we were going through our DS list. I think it was like 29 or 19. One of those that I missed. That was actually where Partners in Time was.
Oh.
Whoops.
Oh, whoa.
Yep.
Whoopsie. Anyway, 49, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max.
Okay.
Considered
Really good
the
port.
best version of Alpha 3. Like it's
Yeah.
filled with content.
Yeah.
To the point that people are kind of upset that this version isn't in the Capcom collection that came out. But they always go for the arcade versions. And finally, at number 50, this one's for you, Ash. Hatsune Miku Project Diva 2nd/Extend.
Nice. I was wondering if a Miku game where she would fall on this. And she'll probably be making my top 10 Vita games for sure. But nice to see her make the top 50.
Mhm.
That's a pretty good top 50. I think there's one game I'm surprised by, and it is GTA again. Chinatown Wars was better on PSP. Like it just it had widescreen support. It ran smoother, looked better. Where did that end up?
I think. Let me see here. I think people associate it more with.
I think they do associate it more with DS. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the exact positioning. It is tied with several others with 71 points. Hatsune Miku had 111 points, just to have that comparison.
Quite a gap,
then. So it didn't get a lot of notice, but it also tied with Monster Hunter Portable 3rd and Wipeout Pulse.
Okay.
All right.
There was a lot of collections I liked on PSP. The Power Stone collection was great. There was the Crazy Taxi collection, had 1 and 2. There was a Darkstalkers collection. Like there was lots of really cool console ports on that system. I guess I'm not surprised they didn't make it because they're just collections. But I spent a lot of time with those guys.
Mm-hmm. I'm quite happy. Like we never got a English version, which still kills me to this day. But Valkyria Chronicles 3 got 80 points.
That is good.
Oh,
That's
wow.
good. That's
Okay.
very good.
That's pretty solid for a Japanese only game.
Yeah.
I got to ask about 2 games in my own top 10. I mentioned Sound Shapes earlier, but also DJ Max Fever. Both of those are in my top 10, and I'm curious where they landed.
Let's see.
If they landed anywhere.
So I don't have. I think I retitled some of them or something like that, but potentially I have DJ Max Portable 2 at 5 points and DJ Max Portable 3 at 10 points.
Okay, yeah, Fever was like the localized name of one of the DJ Max games. I'm not sure which.
Yeah.
What about Sound Shapes? Does that make it anywhere?
Let me see here. Sound Shapes got. Hold on. Wait, did I lose it? I'm typing in sound. I'm typing in sound, and it's not
Maybe
coming up.
no one voted for Sound Shapes.
Wow, no one voted for Sound Shapes.
Did you
For
not vote for Sound Shapes
shame.
either?
I did. That's what's so weird. 'Cause
Oh.
It was my number 3.
It should be on there. Then I must have accidentally got rid of it. Hold on.
I'll re-vote for it for PS3. That's okay because it was for PS3 and PS.
Now that bothers me that I lost that one. What the heck?
What happened?
Hold on. I'm going to the master list.
It's okay. You threw out my votes. I know you did. It's okay.
As Shell Shock
Ash,
says,
you are the only one who voted for it.
The only one. That's crazy. All right, I'm going to re-vote for it for PS3.
At number.
Somebody.
You put it at number your number 3 games. So it would have had 8 points.
That game rules, everybody. You should go play Sound Shapes.
I am surprised that Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins didn't make it into the top 50.
Yeah,
let me fix something in here and get Sound Shapes on this list that I somehow missed. So I have it on the master. Anyway, what were you looking for, John?
Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins.
Let's see. Ultimate Ghost and Goblins. Hold on. There's a lot of ultimates in here thanks to Ultimate Alliance and stuff like that. Let's try Goblins. Jeez. Here we go. 49 points.
Not bad. And what about Ash's favorite game, The Third Birthday?
I was going to wonder, yeah.
The Third Birthday got 34 votes, 34 points. So higher than some others.
It's one of those that looked cool. You had that striking red box art. You know, it was pushing the system's limits. Just wasn't good.
it got more points than Ape Escape Academy, which only got 31 points.
There you go.
The Third Birthday should not be higher than anything. The third
beat Hot Shots Golf Open T2 or lost Open T1.
Good.
Anybody who voted for The Third Birthday should be put on a watch list.
Oh God. But yeah, it's just a wide variety on here. Like we got to vote for Death Jr., but that was trying to be raised up as a big thing, but nobody remembers Death Jr. Well, except for that one person or people. PSP was a solid system for sure.
It was great.
Lots of great stuff on there. Tons of RPGs. By the way, Ridge Racer 2 got 76 points. If you're curious about that.
Okay.
We've got to beat people up. We've got to stop beating people up.
The Power Stone Collection got 70 points.
Okay.
So there is that. Any others that people are curious about? Otherwise, I think that'll take care of it.
That's it for me.
I'm pretty satisfied for the most part. I think the top 10 was pretty good. There are a few games I'd like to see a bit higher, but there's no real filler in the top 50. It's just quality. And that's kind of what PSP had. It was really cool for the time to have this device that could be an MP3 player, a portable DVD player, an internet browser, and then just play these like PS2 looking games. I think it's one of the coolest handheld eras.
Yeah, I agree with that. So glad to see it get some representation here. Great final list. And next time we're gonna be talking about the top 10 Xbox 360 games, which will be also very interesting because I'm curious whether exclusives or third parties are going to dominate that list.
We'll see. Is this finally where GTA is going to make it in the top 10?
We'll find out.
Also, you know what? I deserve a bonk. I'm going to admit this. I always admit when I'm wrong. Let it never be said that I don't. I had a brain fart. Sound Shapes was PS Vita, not PSP.
That's why I got rid of it.
I'm an idiot. Yeah, my bad.
Because I'll always fix that stuff.
Yeah, my fault. I was wrong about that, so I will re-vote for it.
So yeah, if you voted for something, it's not here. Usually it's because you're wrong or it's a different title.
I completely forgot it was Vita, not PSP. So yeah, okay. My bad, everybody.
Dang it, Ash.
I know. Can't. Yeah. What are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
Vita's going to be an interesting list when we get to that. That's for
Yes.
sure. That's
And I'm looking forward to the 360 discussion. That's next week. I'm excited about that.
Hell yeah.
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 See what actually gets on the top there. But yeah, that is our top 10 PSP games of all time. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to GVG, hitting the like button, and ringing that bell. We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/GVGaming with plenty of extra perks. So until next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye.